Okay, it is 2 o'clock on the dot, so we are going to go ahead and jump in. I like to start this stuff on time. Thank you for being here. Today we are going to be doing a webinar on a beginner ad hoc reporting webinar. A few personal comments about ad hoc. I think ad hoc is maybe one of the most underutilized tool that we have in Bravo, that once you get familiar with it and you learn how to leverage it and you learn the different criteria and levers that you can pull, really allows you to see your business in maybe a new way, or see, you know, items, numbers, number of items, the ages of stuff, who has loans, different ways to categorize. Lots of new information that you can glean from ad hoc, and actually just from like ad hoc from a beginner's perspective. A few housekeeping notes. There is a Q&A in Zoom that's at the bottom of the page. I'm going to go ahead and moderate that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in there. If I'm able to answer them, I will. If not, I'll wait until Dawn takes a second to breathe, and then I will interject and ask your question for you. There's also a chat button at the bottom of the screen. If you prefer to post in the chat, you can do that as well, and I'll do the similar thing, wait for Dawn to take a breath, and then interject. So the last thing is that we're recording this, so don't worry about frantically typing notes or trying to screenshot stuff. With all of our webinars, we record them, we put them on YouTube, we post them back in the events channel on Facebook. So don't worry about that. Without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Dawn. Dawn is a customer success manager. She is also super amazing at reports. She's going to be hosting reports webinars all week, so we're really excited to have her do this for you, and she's the best at it. So thanks for being here, and I'm going to flip it over to Dawn.
Awesome. Thanks, Tally. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and that way we can go through some ad hoc reporting here. Alrighty. Can you see my screen, Tally? Okay. Awesome. So ad hoc reporting basically is reporting that's literally created as you need it. It's created for specific needs. Whenever you need it, it's available at your fingertips, and there are a million ways for you to look at the data in ad hoc reports. Where you look is going to depend on what you're looking for. We have ad hoc reporting available in inventory, layaways, loans and buys, e-commerce, web auctions, eBay listings, customers, assignments, repairs, and void view transactions. So you can find an ad hoc report in any of those locations, and it's really going to depend on what you're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and click to loans and buys, and you're always going to find ad hoc in the same spot on the screen. When you get into the screen, in this case loans and buys, ad hoc is going to be on the right hand side towards the bottom. You click on ad hoc reporting, and you're going to get an ad hoc report generator, and it's always going to tell you what you're looking at. So I'm in the loan report generator, and from here, this is where we're going to determine what we're looking for. So you know, Bravo has a lot of reports in the back end, and sometimes there's things that you want to find that aren't quite listed out the way you like them in the reports, and that's where ad hoc is going to come in. All of the criteria are going to be under the add new criteria button, and the criteria are going to change depending on which report generator you're in. So for the loan report generator, I have criteria that pertain to loans. Things such as the pull date. You wouldn't need the pull date for inventory, but you would need it for loans. So these are things that are going to pertain to our loans. And for the loans, it always defaults to active. If you ever see a red X like this in the ad hoc window, you can click it and it will delete that criteria. You can always put the criteria back in by clicking. So we're going to select criteria from the criteria button, and we can select as many of these as we want. So for our example, I want to look for all of my loans that are in jewelry. So I click on criteria and then criteria equals, and I want to find all of my jewelry loans. But I want to find all of my jewelry loans that were created before the 1st of this year. So to do that, I'm going to add a second criteria, and I'm going to select create date this time. And these little blue equal signs, you can click on these and change the operator. So create date equals, well, if I leave it as equals, it's just going to choose one date. So I have a couple of options. If I click this equals sign, I have all of these different options. I can choose a range of dates. I can choose anything but one date. I can choose several dates and have included those dates in the list. I can choose less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So I can choose any of these things and change how I'm looking at that report. If I want to do a range, I'll click range, and then I'll have my ability to choose dates in that range button. I want to look before January 1st. So I'm going to say report date created less than or equal to, and I want to select January. So if I click on the March, it zooms out the year so I can select a different month, and I want it to be less than January 1st. So
will you show that one more time, Dawn?
Absolutely. When we click down on the date, you've got this box with the month. And if you want to go back several months, you could always click these little arrows and just go back. But if you're going back more than, I don't know, a month or two, that can get really cumbersome, really tedious. So if you click on where it says January 2020, if you just click on the month, it zooms out. So now I have all of 2020 in front of me. If I do it again, it'll zoom out and give me the year. So I can select backwards, I can select a month within the year, and it makes it a lot easier for me to find those dates. It's a lot quicker. You also have the option of typing it in if you're really quick at typing. I tend to mistype things a lot. I always call it fat fingering. I always mistype things. So for me, having the date selection tool is absolutely essential for me. So I've got my 2 criteria that I want in here. Over here, you always want to pay attention to the max rows. If you have a large loan base, you can go up to 1,000 loans or 1,000 rows. That will help if you're doing inventory. If you're doing large lists, you always want to select the maximum number of rows. That way you're not missing any data. So we're going to go ahead and view the report first. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And it's going to take a second. And this is going to be my list of loans. So these are all of my loans that were created before January 1st of this year. I've got 55 in my store. I can scroll through them, I can see them, I can see all kinds of information. If this is a report that I'm going to pull repeatedly, more than once, every week, every month, however often I need to pull it, you don't have to rebuild it all of the time. If we go back to our ad hoc reporting window, I can give my report a name. So I can call it whatever I want to call it. Over here, I'm going to decide if I'm going to share it. If it's just for me and I don't want anyone else to see it, I'm going to click Not Shared. If I want everyone else in the store to be able to run it, I'm going to share it store-wide. And if I want everyone else in the company, multiple stores to see it, or if I want to run it in multiple locations, I'm going to click Shared Company-wide. Then I'm going to click Save. By doing that, it puts the loan available in this bottom list. So I can select any of these other loans, any of the other reports rather. I can look at my buy walk. Whatever reports I have previously built are going to be in this list. So the next time I go to look at this particular report, all I have to do is select it and click OK. You might have to change a date, but that's a lot easier than building a report, especially if you have, let's say, half a dozen criteria and 17 categories that you're looking for. If you build it once, you always have it available, and that makes it really, really easy. So again, we'll run the report. Once you run the report, you've got a few, you're not just with data as it is, although the data as it is might give you everything you need. There may be things that are missing or things that you want to rearrange. Let's start first with rearranging. If I want to pull the customer and have them next to the ticket number so that I can have an easier view, all I'm going to do is click on the title customer, and I'm going to drag it with my mouse. And you can see the little arrows that are bouncing up and down. Those are telling me where it's going to deposit my column. So I want to put it right next to ticket number. So now I've got my ticket number, my customer. Let's say I don't really need the current disposition date. I can drag that off. All I do again is click on the title and drag it, and you'll see the title with a little X. And once you see that little red X, if you let go with your mouse, it's going to take it away. If you ever do that on accident, you can get it back. The way to do that is to right click on the title row. And now we're going to go to the column chooser. The column chooser is going to give me visibility to every single column available for this particular ad hoc. So that was the disposition date. All I have to do is check the box and it's going to put it right back where it was. If there's something else that I want to put in here that's not currently visible, I can select any of this information. So let's say I want to call my customers. I want their mobile phone number. I'm going to select mobile, and it's going to put the mobile phone number right up here in my report. I want to move the mobile phone number over to the customer. Right. So now I've got a list of all of last year's loans. I've got my customer and my number. I have loans and buys on here though, so there might be a situation where I want to get rid of a certain ticket type. There's two ways to do that. One would be to go back and revise my ad hoc. So I can come back and select another criteria, and this time I would select ticket kind and make it so that it's just loans. Or if I want to leave it in there, I could pull ticket kind into my column chooser. And I have the option of viewing it one or the other or taking some out. And let's say I want to filter it. So let's say this, I lost my train of thought. I apologize, tripping over my words. I'm sorry. If you want to filter, all you do is hover your mouse on the column that you want to filter and you select the little filter icon, and it's going to give you the ability to filter out just loans. The other thing you can do is, let's stretch a column here so we can see it better. We can sort. Sorting is really simple. Just click customer and it's going to sort by customer name. If I sort it again, it's going to sort with the last one at the top. Sorting is really, really simple. But let's say I have all of these customers. Several customers have this, loans with me. I don't need to see several rows just to get this one customer's phone number. I can group it. Grouping it is a really powerful tool also. There's a couple ways to do that. First one, easiest one, is to right click. I want to group by the customer. So I right click by customer and I click group by this column. And what that does is it sorts it all together and it puts all of my customers. So I have one customer, Alligator, here, and he's got all of his loans and I have his phone number. If I want to see how it's grouped, I'm going to right click again on the title row and I'm going to go to show group panel. This shows me how I have groupings done. If I want to group by two different things, let's say I want to group by customer and then a secondary grouping of the disposition, I now have a secondary grouping. I can also right click on my group panel and expand everything. That way I can see it. I can also collapse everything. And I can see it by clicking the little pluses. So now, once you have all of this grouping done and you have it the way you like it, let's expand it. This is the way I want to see it from now on. I can come over here to layouts. Layouts is going to give me a couple of different things. The first one is a summary panel. If I click on the summary panel box, of course it's all collapsed here, it will give me a sum total of the loans that I'm looking at. I can make it a sum, an average, a total count, whatever I need, I can get it from the summary panel. I can also save my layout. So I did all of this manipulation and craziness to my report. I want to save it so I don't have to do that again. So I can give it the same kind of name. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing where I decide if I'm going to share it. Then I'm going to click Save. Okay. So the next time you go to run the report, you click on Ad Hoc Reporting, you select name of your report, you select the columns right here, and then you click Run, and it's going to run it and sort it exactly the way you showed it before, so that it's automatically going to do that for you, and you won't have to worry about formatting your report. Once you have the report and you're ready to go ahead and take a look at it, oh, my print list is gone. Should be able to print list. There should be a print list option on the side. Let me just cancel out of here. I thought I saw an error message and I clicked right by it. Bear with me one second. Let's go ahead and go back into loans and buys. Let's go back into ad hoc. Let's run my report. There it is. And again, I've got it's already laid out for me. I have a print list button right here. If I print this, it's going to print the data in my report. It's going to give me the same options that I would have for any other report. I can print it, I can export it, I can save it, I can do anything I need to do. I can pop it into a new window and keep going with Bravo. Here we go. So I can show it in a separate window, I can export it to a different file, I can print it straight to my printer. So yeah, that gives us a very, very basic look of what ad hoc reporting does. And again, saving the reports and being able to access them again, for me, that's a really huge thing. To be able to find a report, run a custom report that I know I need for my store, and to be able to run it again as much as I want to. Alrighty. Tally, do you have any questions, or does anyone have any questions on the very, very basics of ad hoc reporting?
Does anybody have any questions? We haven't gotten any yet.
Okay. So it's been about 16 minutes. Do you want me to keep going and to do some more advanced stuff, or do you want me to save that for? Okay, cool.
10 minutes.
All right. Let's talk about some groupings. I'm going to go and I'm going to run an ad hoc in inventory to show you a little bit of the difference. And when I run my ad hoc in inventory, I'm going to look for some cost numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and run an ad hoc, and I'm going to do this in inventory. So I'm in inventory, and I select ad hoc reporting from my inventory report generator. And this time I want to look at inventory that is over a certain age. So we'll do greater than 90 days. Okay. Again, I'm going to do my rows. And I want to get all of my inventory, all categories, all of it. So this is the only criteria I'm going to impose on the report. And I don't have a lot of inventory in my test store, so it shouldn't take too long. But one thing to keep in mind, if you do run an ad hoc report that is far too large, you can cancel it with this little red X. If you're like, oh, this is taking too long. Cancel it, and it'll stop the query, and you can go back in and narrow your criteria. So let's actually make our criteria a little bit older. Or let's narrow it. Let's do age and narrow by a category. So let's add a category. Jewelry. Okay. So it's just going to take a minute to run and fetch all those records. Once it runs, though, if I want to find costs, and I want to see the costs for different ages. So I've got things that are over 90 years old, or 90 days old, not years. Wow, 90 days old. Right away, I can see something I did wrong with my report. I see status sold, and I see status layaway. I don't care so much if they're refined or sold. So I can go back and again revise my report. Doesn't take long to go in there and select my status. And again, clicking the equal sign is going to let me choose. This time I'm going to choose in, which is include. So I want to include only inventory and unpriced for this one. If I wanted to include something else, I can click the little green plus and it'll keep letting me add. If I included too many, again, the little red X lets me delete. So we'll run it one more time. And what I'm going to do when this comes up is I'm going to go ahead and drag the age column in from the column chooser. And then I'm going to group it. So I want to right click, show column chooser, and I want to include the age. So now I have my age. I'm going to sort it by clicking on age. So I have the newest at the top and the oldest at the bottom. And then I want to go ahead and I want to group it. So I'm going to group by age. And now I can see all of the ages that I have. And I have a count for each age. I have this one is 6, this one is 2, this one is 1. If I want to change that, and I don't want to see a count, but I want to see the actual dollar cost of those items, what I'm going to do is right-click on the title, show the group panel. Once I have the group panel, I want to right-click on age, and I want to go to Group Summary Editor. The Group Summary Editor is going to allow me to choose another thing to tally on that line. So cost, and I want the sum. So the sum total cost on each line. Okay. So now I can see in 95 days, I have got 6 items that are some cost of $1,150. I can see that on 455 days, I have 27 items with $5,575. If I want to see the overall cost for the entire range for the report, I'm going to click on Layouts, Show Summary Panel, and it's going to show me my total cost. You can tell it's the cost because it is under the cost column. Again, right-click on Age, Group Summary Editor, and I can choose other things. So cost is highlighted here. So I can see my cost, and I can make it an average instead of a sum. There's the average cost of item. If I want to see both, I just right-click, Group Summary Editor, go back to my cost, and click Average and Sum, and now you can see the average and the sum. So when I say there are a lot of different ways to view the data, I mean there are a lot of different ways to view the data. There's a lot of different manipulations and customizations you can put in. There's a lot of different ways you can sort and group and manipulate and view and analyze. So the Group Summary Editor is one of my favorite things. Let's see. We have any other questions? Any questions now? No questions?
No questions yet.
No questions. All right.
Is there any ad hoc reports that any of you have like wished you could make, or like data that you wish you knew how to see? Maybe you don't know what the criteria is for it, but you're curious if there is one. If that speaks to you, go ahead and post it in the chat and we can try to create an ad hoc for you.
Absolutely.
Y'all are quiet today.
Very quiet. That's okay. I think what we can do is you can always call us, and if you're having trouble with ad hoc, give us a call. You can talk to me directly. I'm more than happy to walk you through it anytime you want to. We can definitely try to find ways to look at your data through the ad hoc reporting. Again, sometimes maybe you're looking for items on loan. You might find better luck looking at an ad hoc in inventory than loan. So if I want to see the jewelry items on loan, I'm going to take the age out. And oops, I should have left the status in and just changed it. That's okay. We'll just select status, and this time it's going to be pawn. Status. I think it's on loan. There it is, loan. So these are your jewelry items on loan. So there's other ways to look at the data. You don't have to necessarily go to loans if you're looking for item information. So this is the jewelry items on loan. And this is the item level view instead of the loan level view. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's see. Let's go ahead and clear this out. So, no questions?
Nope.
Okay. I can keep going and get more and more advanced.
Let's pause there.
Okay.
I do just want to remind everybody of a few promotions that we're running to help you communicate with your customers over the next month. So all in March and also in April, we're offering free emailing and free push notifications. So if you haven't used either of those methods for communicating with your customers, they are for you, and they are free through the end of April, so take advantage of those. And then also one of the things that we're working on is partnerships with other pawn vendors or other people that can offer you things during this funky, weird business climate that we're in right now. And one of the people who we are partnering with is a company called Pawn Train. I don't know if you have heard of Alan Wilson, but I'm going to loop him in here. He's offering what's called a free loan guarantee card. And what that loan guarantee card is it basically on a reloan locks in the price that you're willing to loan on an item that is redeemed and brought back in. And you can visit his website, pawntrain.com, and you can put in your request here. He actually customizes it for you with your logo, which is awesome. Here's an example of that. And to better explain it, I'm going to flip it over to Alan. But before I flip it over, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been coming to the webinars. We really enjoy having you here. We are going to continue to have these to try to help teach you tips and tricks why maybe you have a little bit more downtime than usual. So thanks again for being here. And Alan, I'm going to flip it over to you.
Great, Tally. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Well, so, hey, the loan guarantee card, it is exactly what it sounds like. So picture a customer who doesn't have a credit card or cash reserve. Many times, as you well know, our customers are unbanked. There's a number of something in the 30% range of our, U.S. population that is not served by traditional banking methods. That's where we got to step in. So many of our customers have borrowed from their relatives. They've used all their immediate backup, and they don't have anything, that's a safety net. So guess what? The need for money still arises. So what is our cash and credit constrained customer safety net? It's the loan guarantee card, okay? In this scenario, you have a customer who has redeemed a product that you want to see back. I mean, you like it. You want to see it back. The item that they use as collateral and their performance regarding the loan leads you to desire to get them back. So, P.S., like, why do we spend so much time trying to find new customers when there's new loans right in front of us with customers we're already doing business with? It's amazing how much we forget about these folks. So anyway, so at redemption time, so the customer has picked up their loan, they're picking up at redemption time. This is when the loan guarantee card comes into play. You make a big deal. You just go crazy, thanking them for redeeming it. Congratulate them. Can you imagine when you paid off your car or paid off your loan, paid off your mortgage, how you felt? Well, listen, sometimes this is the way our customers feel. So you hand them this card. You hand this card to the customer when they redeem that item that you want to see again. Your pawnbroker who makes the guarantee, he puts in his or her name, the customer's name, and the contract number so you can go back and find it when it comes back. And the amount you're guaranteeing until the date, you can see as Tally had on the screen. It's very simple to fill out. Just enter the information right there. So you're guaranteeing that when a customer returns with that item that they're redeeming right now, that you're going to loan them X until a point in time. You can put an end date on it so that that, if it's technology or something you're worried about, you might want to, put a back end on it. But remember, so now it's your customer's credit card loaded with X dollars for a time of need. So then you got to tell them, put it in your purse. Hey, put it in the purse for them. Open your wallet here. Put it right here. You might not see a credit card in there. You may see a debit card. You might not see any backup, and that's when it really should hit you. It's like, wow, we're their backup. So tell them to put it in their personal wallet. When they come back, make it super, super easy to come in. This is where a lot of people mess up. When they flash that card and they bring it out, you can't get the money out of the door fast enough. And then don't be looking at them like, oh, I don't know. Tell your whole staff, listen, if you see this card come in here and this is the person, their ID, you better have that money out in less than 30 seconds. Obviously you got to look to make sure the product is the same product, the same condition that it was in, and all the things we know. But if it's the same, make it like you're swiping a credit card. So if we can do this, and by the way, if you're worried about the item being worth as much later, just adjust how long the card is good for. So if it's technology, I don't know how long, just put the date in there. You just stick it in there what you feel good about. So Tally has showed you, or she's told you some different ways that you can get these, and these are free. I'm doing this because this is a lot of fun. I just want to blast it out there for all of you. You get 200 cards with your logo. So I need your logo, and I need where you need to send it to. PC customers who are part of Jerry's group, you can send an email or on his page, he's got a link you can click on. You can send an email to alan@pondtrain.com, or you can go to pondtrain.com, and it walks you through how to get it. The bottom line is you're going to get 20 sheets of double-sided loan guarantee cards, your business card stationery. Now, they'll be in 8.5 by 11 sheets. You'll have to kind of rip them apart. I'm going to ship them to you for free if you're in the U.S. No charge for printing, no charge for design. Free. Thanks to all of you out there. Thanks to Bravo, and, thanks to PCG and all their customers and the Pondtrain customers. But what I do need is you need to do it by tomorrow, because I'm cutting this off, and I'm offering it to the special Bravo people today. We'll get it out soon. Hopefully I'll have them in the mail by Saturday. Did I leave anything out?
I think that's great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Tomorrow we're going to pick up from exactly where we left off today, and we'll do another 25 minutes of intermediate to advanced to expert ad hoc reporting. Hopefully you learned something. I definitely picked up a few new skills today. So thank you, Dawn, and see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Tally.